On the other side, you are calm and you realize that your inability to flow peacefully with her will threaten your means of livelihood. You now have to bring in that angelic disposition that would accommodate her for the period of this engagement.
But what if that period is an endless period?
It shouldn't be. Hello, it cannot be endless. If it is endless, then you begin to tune. Hello, if the period, as she has said, if it is endless, you begin to tune yourself to her. That tuning is a secondary option. The primary option is work onto such a person. You know, relationship management is the greatest selling point for anybody. Do you understand? Yeah. In the workplace, like, you know, when I was in the bank, there was a time I had an issue with one boss, and I went straight to him and said, "Oga, come. How many of us do you have as your boys? How many of us do you know one-on-one that you can call on a Saturday night and will run up to you?" That very personal relationship. So if that personal relationship fails, you now know that you have tried the primary option, the fundamental option. That one has not yielded a result. Now the other one. And what is that other one? For the meantime, that meantime is this your period of being together in the course of this job or in the course of this assignment. Let me tell you something. Yesterday at the National Assembly, the IGP, upon invitation, was there to listen to what the guys would tell him. Sorry, when he got there, did he not comport himself? Was it comfortable being there? But because there was a purpose for which he got there, and if he did not manage that scene very well, it would become a former, not only a former IG, a dismissed IG. So you understand? So now, in as much as there is an objective, and if that objective is dear to you, you just have to fashion a way of relating with that person, not very personally now, but as long as the official circle exists.
All right, still Galaxy today. We're looking at the workplace and how to ensure a better work relationship between colleagues and, of course, supervisors and boss. You can be a part of this conversation by sending a message, and the numbers now scrolling on your screen, or interact with us via various social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and of course on Instagram. We still have Professor Justus with us here in the studio. Now, we've seen extreme cases where some people had to be separated from one department to the other just because of the unending conflict.
Now you are going corporate. Hello?
Yes.
All we've been discussing have been personal. I mean, just you managing the other person.
Of course.
But now here, separation of employees or colleagues in the workplace is not a function or responsibility of one of the dissenting parties.
So what is it the function of?
Separating two discording employees is not a responsibility or a function of one of the discording employees.
Yes.
Now you have gone up
management
a bit.
has to wait in the big state.
Now, as an organization, the best way, you see, whenever you see an organization that has failed, go and find out the failure was not just dated the day the gate was closed. It would have dated some period earlier, and through what? Through the human resources. So if an organization pays adequate and sufficient attention, very reasonable attention to the relationship of our workforce, such will be handled. And now, like you have said, see, like I told you when I was in the bank, I had very, very wonderful issues with some people. Because, you know, if you are the type that knows what you want, how you want it, and when you want it, and unfortunately sandwiched in between mediocres in the name of line managers, only Jesus Christ would help you. So conflict would always be. But now for the corporate resolution, it is simple. See, the best manager of people is that man who is able to ab initio identify weak points, and on an ongoing process, ongoing basis, continually watch the interrelationship of the people. So when, as an organization, I'm talking now as maybe the head of an HR.
Okay.
Or maybe you have been reported to that, okay, look at this, and now, how do you separate them? But mind you, separating them does not completely exhume and exterminate the problem. Because you have only preferred a temporal
solution,
short-term, but still indulging solution. Hello? So when you even separate, you have not cured the trouble. It's just like a bridge. You have expansion joints on a bridge. If the bridge is defective and you have just gone there to just replace the expansion joint, behold, you have just done a temporary healing. So as an organization, we don't just look at, in the immediate, there's this short-term resolution and long-term. Okay. On the immediate, if only safe, hello, because redeployment in most cases may not. Something happened to me while I was in the bank. I had an issue with a branch manager. But instead of the bank to come in and do something respectful, what they did was immediately they took me out of the branch. But luckily, it worked out against the person. So separating immediately does not resolve the content, because the person, you see, it flows in the blood. It flows in the blood. The organization first have to find out the reason and the basis for the content.
Okay, now still talking about conflict, and I don't know how to put this word, but
put it somehow.
Okay. Okay, we're dealing with conflict. The humans involved in this conflict now.
Conflict, yep.
Now, I mean, some people would give it attitude like, you hear some people say, that was rude, it's okay. They tell you, well, that's just me, I'm just rude. Like, seriously, that's me, Oh, so they know it's a weakness they need to work on. And dealing also with the issue that some has, maybe one way you've tried to meet a colleague, like if maybe for instance, I have an issue with a male colleague, and I try to reach out to Justin that this and this and this. I'm saying this not because I want to report this person. I'm saying it because I need you to speak to him man to man.
Wade in quickly.
And then maybe he goes and talk. But when it comes to the ladies aspect, it could almost be like, why are you gossiping me? And maybe he's like, I need you to talk to this lady. Maybe she will understand from
your point of view.
Okay, now let's not assume now the bodies now, the people who are the conflict carrier now. There is a word like that.
The conflict bearer.
How? Yes. How do they manage these weaknesses? Because a whole lot of them, they know they have this, but they don't know how to go about it. And some are not even aware. But they hear people say you are, and they still don't want to listen. How do we deal with this? How can we help
Now,
them?
it's a function of the psyche in the organization.
Okay.
There's something we call the atmosphere of leadership.
Okay.
You see, in an organization, this is this person, this is this attitude, and maybe having been heard or having been told severally that you have this, please. The whole essence, you see, they said a problem discovered is half solved. And now if it has been pointed out to you at a time or the other that, guy, there's this serial attitude of yours that is demeaning. Please, what everybody naturally expects is for you to tune onto a better part. But if peradventure you refuse, going by maybe your personal ego, dignity, or whatsoever, you refuse to turn or change over a new leaf, you should have a boss.
All right,
I know with a boss, sanction theory comes in.
Okay, fine. People are beginning to respond to what we're discussing this morning. We posed a question on our Facebook page. We asked them if violence is the best way to manage conflict in a relationship. Chukwemeka Joseph Ikechukwu writes us, and he says, no, there are better ways to do that. Being violent can only destroy it more. I think for a better and good relationship, the man should always learn to endure and ignore certain things. The same applies to the woman. Not listening to so-called friends, because sometimes the problems couple up. Couples have at home are caused by the advice of some friends. So the best way is endurance. Nothing is worth dying for, he says. Then Baye Jeremiah says, is a big no. It's not even among the list of possible solutions. Violence can solve any
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, as we begin to wrap up now, Justus, let's just look at the way forward as in how to ensure that in as much as you have to work with this person, you just have to work with him well. Whether your friends or not, the set objectives of the organization, have to be met. Yep.
There's what we call peaceful coexistence. Peaceful coexistence. It may be peaceful one-sided. It may be peaceful mutually. But it will be mutual if you are able to win the other person onto your side. And that is one great thing about leadership. Influence. How able are you to influence the other person? It can be very dramatic. This man is going this way. You now want him to leave his course and chart another course. It is so much dependent on your innate ability to cause him off. But if as a leader you are lacking in that, successfully, you know you are an ornament of failure. Do you understand? So as either a boss or as an employee or even as a person without even a corporate clout back home, a father that is unable to move his wife or children off their normal course onto his is a monumental failure. Do you understand? So this is where influence, the doctrine of influence comes in. So as a human being, as a boss in the office, as a leader, we should learn something. We should go by all means to learn what it takes to influence the other person. Look at, do you know, you can be with a military man with a gun. You want to shoot. But if you are able to talk senses to his head, understand his peculiarities. If you identify his peculiarities and you romance his ego via that, you win him over.
All right, well said. That's as much as we can take on this segment.